This is note-taking guide 7.4 for Math 1. So we're going to continue with moving our graphs around a little bit. Today we're going to talk about vertical shifts. Vertical is up and down like this. So a vertical shift would be a movement along the y-axis, up or down. So what we're going to do here today is we're just going to shift some graphs around and see what's happening here. So it says you're given the equation of f of x and instructed to shift f of x to find g of x. Find the equation for g of x and graph both of the equations on the coordinate plane. So my original graph is 1/2 x plus 1. So I'm going to start up at 1 and then go up 1 and over 2, up 1 and over 2. So my original graph, whoo, that was bad. My original graph, yeah, you guys, try your best to get a line through those ordered pairs. I'm having a rough time. My original graph looks something like this. It says shift f of x down 4 units. So really what I'm doing is I'm going down 4 units from everywhere I'm at. So 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, and then everywhere. So 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. My graph's going to go through those new ordered pairs again, just like this. So it wants to know what my new equation would be. Well, my new point of intersection is actually -3 down here for the y-axis. So my y-intercept is -3. My slope is still going to be the same. It's going to be 1/2 x. I didn't change my slope. So really what I did when I moved down 4 was I took this 1 and I subtracted 4 from it to get that -3. So we can actually do this algebraically. We don't have to see the graph in order to do this, which is what we're trying to lead you to today, is to be able to do that without graphing it. But let's try another one with a graph. So the first one is 2x minus 6. So I'm going to start that one. I'm going to graph that. I'm going to start down at -6, which is right here. Then I'm going to go up 2 and over 1, up 2 and over 1, up 2 and over 1, up 2 and over 1. And then my line goes through those ordered pairs. Kind of like that. Okay, this says move me up 7. So I'm going to go up 7 units from that, which is right here. I'm going to have that same slope, but I'm up 7 units. So again, how did I do this? Algebraically, I have to take that -6 to it, and I have to add 7 because that's my y-intercept. I'm moving my y-intercept up 7. So my new equation is going to be 2x. And then I'm going to be up at +1, which is what it shows on my graph right here too. Okay. All right, you're given information about f of x and g of x. Rewrite f of x or g of x in slope-intercept form. So here it says f of x is equal to 3x and g of x is f of x plus 4. You guys, this is really substitution. Take your f of x function and add 4 to it. My f of x function is 3x. I'm going to add 4 to that. That's going to be equal to my g of x function. So this one's already written in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b form. I didn't have to simplify that at all. But really it's just a lot of substitution going on today. So here it says f of x is equal to 6x plus 2. G of x is f of x minus 8. So in place of the f of x, I'm going to put 6x plus 2. I still have that minus 8. I was trying to make that x look better. So my g of x is going to be 6x, and then those combine together to be a -6. So that's my new g of x function in slope-intercept form. Okay. This one says f of x is g of x plus 7. G of x is x minus 4. So I'm going to put in this time, I'm going to put in the g of x. So x minus 4 plus 7. Combine those together, and I get x plus 3. For my f of x function. All right, 2 more on this same page. It says you're given information about f of x and g of x. Find the value of f of x or g of x. So this time we're going to take it one step further and have to substitute a value in to find a value. So it says f of x equals g of x minus 2, and g of x equals this. So I'm going to substitute that in place of g of x. So f of x equals g of x, which happens to be 3x minus 5 minus 2. So I get 3x minus 7 for my f of x value. I now need to find f of 7, which means I'm substituting 7 in. So 3 times 7 minus 7, so 21 minus 7, which happens to be the number 14. So 14 is going to be my solution there. All right, same thing, next problem. F of x equals this. I'm going to substitute my f of x into the f of x in the other problem. So it says g of x equals f of x. I'm going to put 2x plus 14 in place of the f of x. Going to finish off my equation with that plus 6 there. I'm going to combine those like terms, so I get 2x plus 20. That's my equation, but my answer is not my equation. My answer this time is finding g of negative 2. So I'm substituting negative 2 in place of the x. That will be a negative 4 plus 20. Negative 4 plus 20 is the number 16. All right, we got one more last page of problems here, and we're done. Actually, we're on the very last problem. It says f of x equals negative 5x minus 14, and f of x equals g of x plus 8. What is g of 4? Well, this is one of those times when, well, let's see if we can figure this out. If I take this and I substitute it in, I'm trying to figure out if I think this problem has error in it or if we can do it still. If I take f of x as negative 5x minus 14 and I substitute it in there, so I'd have negative 5x minus 14 equals g of x plus 8. So I can actually solve for what g of x is now by subtracting that 8 to the other side. So I get a negative 5x minus 22 equals g of x. So this actually works now. So I can take my 4 now and substitute it in place of the x. So negative 5 times 4 minus 22 equals g of x. Or g of 4 in this case because I substituted the 4 in. So negative 20 minus 22 is a negative 42. And that's what g of 4 is a negative 42. All right, you guys. I thought for a minute that one might be set up wrong because of the way it was worded up here, but it worked out just fine. As you go throughout your homework today, if you have any questions, please come see me. Thanks for watching, guys.